Celtic face a struggling Utrecht side on Thursday in a must-win Europa League clash, but we've got major transfer news breaking, a player finally ending an embarrassing 5-year record, and new signings already making an impact. It's been a massive 24 hours for the club, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic's European hopes hang in the balance on Thursday night, and they've got the perfect opportunity to book their spot in the knockout stages, with the final group game coming against a Utrecht side in total disarray. Martin O'Neill's men will qualify if they can beat the Dutch outfit at Celtic Park. The good news? Utrecht haven't won a league game since the 9th of November when they beat Ajax. Their most recent win in any competition came back on the 17th of December in the Cup against a side who currently sit 15th in the Dutch second tier. Since then, it's been downhill. Ron Janss's side are on a 5-game losing streak, with 3 defeats in the Eredivisie, 1 in the Dutch Cup and another in Europe. Following the latest loss at home to Sparta Rotterdam, tensions boiled over. Utrecht fans called for Jans to resign, and both the manager and goalkeeper Vasilis Barkas were involved in talks with furious supporters. But the 67-year-old boss is refusing to walk away. That was definitely a thank you for their support, not a farewell, Jans insisted. This time it was shame on you, and Ron Jans, don't come back, if I heard correctly. I don't plan on doing that. I'm having a great time here, though I'm currently going through a very difficult phase, for which I'm obviously partly responsible. Celtic, by contrast, showed resilience in their last European outing. It was a gutsy 2-2 draw in Bologna with 10 men, and a win on Thursday will send them through. It's all in our hands heading into the match. With the Hoops in fighting form and Utrecht floundering, there may be no better time to strike. Now for the main story, as Celtic look poised to benefit financially after former striker Oh Hyun-gyu edged closer to a big money move to Turkish giants Besiktas. The South Korean forward, who joined Genk from Celtic 2 years ago for around £3 million, is understood to be on the verge of a £10 million transfer, a significant fee by any standard. Thanks to a sell-on clause inserted into his original contract, Celtic will receive a healthy cut of the deal, turning a player who never quite hit full stride in Glasgow into a profitable piece of business. Last summer, Celtic were also in line for a windfall when Genk accepted a £24 million offer from VfB Stuttgart, but that move collapsed after the Bundesliga club tried to negotiate a lower fee after they found something they didn't like in the medical scans. While the Besiktas move is less than half that figure, it still represents a substantial return both for Genk and for Celtic via the sell-on arrangement. O's time at Parkhead was mixed. Arriving midway through Ange Postecoglou's final season, he showed flashes of promise. He was a physical presence capable of holding up play, with a good first touch and intelligent movement. However, injuries disrupted his rhythm in the early stages of Brendan Rodgers' return, leaving him without the consistent run of games needed to establish himself at Celtic. Ultimately, he was sold to Genk, where he found a fresh platform. A moment that still lingers with many Scottish fans came in September, when O returned to Ibrox and scored the winning goal in Genk's 1-0 Europa League victory over Rangers. Despite missing several clear chances that day, he still delivered the decisive strike. Now, with Besiktas closing in on his signature, Celtic are set to benefit again. It's unclear at this stage how much Celtic will be due. In other news, Thomas Cavankara wasted no time showing Celtic fans what he's about in Sunday's dramatic 2-2 draw with Hearts, providing an assist and a glimpse of exactly what the Hoops have been missing. Thrown into the starting 11 just 3 days after arriving in Glasgow, the towering Czech striker lasted 65 minutes in what was a whirlwind debut, but even in that short spell, he made a difference. Cavankara was directly involved in Celtic's second goal, linking brilliantly with Dyson Maeda before driving forward and sliding a perfect ball across for Yang Hyun-jun to convert. It was a move full of composure, pace and quality, all things Celtic have lacked in the final third at times this season. Speaking to Celtic TV after the match, Cavankara admitted it was a challenging introduction. I would say it was very difficult because for me, I arrived 3 days ago and I had a lot of fights and stuff going on. It was a difficult game for me, but I think I can help with better performances. Of course, I was happy with the assist for Yang, but I would say I can offer a little bit more. He also gave a clear message when asked how motivated he was to help Celtic in the title race. It's not over until it's over, right? Booked in the first half after a tangle that VAR reviewed for a possible red, Cavankara showed he's more than willing to battle, but also that he's got the footballing brain and technique to make a real impact. Celtic are going to need to fight for this title and do the basics right. The on-loan striker looks like he could be a big player in the run-in, but the squad is still desperate for some quality to be added over the next week, with the window to shut next Monday. It's early days, but this debut offered a lot to be excited about. In other news, it took 5 years, 87 attempts, and a Sky Sports graphic of doom, but finally, Celtic scored from a direct free kick in the Scottish Premiership. In a moment that felt almost scripted, Benjamin Nygren curled home a beauty against Hearts on Sunday, ending one of the most baffling and embarrassing streaks in recent Celtic history. The timing? Absolutely poetic. Just seconds before Nygren struck, Sky Sports displayed a stat that showed that in Celtic's last 86 shots from a free kick dating back to January 2021, they hadn't scored a goal. Make that 87 and 1. The last direct free kick goal in the league came all the way back in January 2021 when David Turnbull fired home against Hibs during the COVID season, a goal that, notably, no fans were even there to witness. Nygren's strike gave Celtic an early lead in the game, while it also lifted a ridiculous weight that's hung over the club for years. In a team with dead ball specialists over the seasons, it had somehow become a cursed scenario. Of course, there have been one or two successes, like Jota in Madrid in the 5-1 thumping. It's not a record Celtic will be proud of, but at least it's over now. Expect this article to resurface in 2031 with some names changed. Lastly, with just 7 days left in the January transfer window, Celtic are still scrambling to reinforce a squad in desperate need of quality, and it now looks like they're eyeing Norway international Felix Horn-Meyer. The brand midfielder is attracting serious interest, with reports in Norway claiming Celtic have identified the 24-year-old as a target. He registered 4 goals and 5 assists last season and is seen as a creative engine in the middle of the park, which is exactly the kind of profile the Hoops lack right now. However, the Scottish champions face stiff competition. Danish side Brøndby are also keen and are reportedly ready to table a €3 million bid. It's unclear if Celtic are prepared to match that fee or whether they'll let another potential reinforcement slip through their fingers. The need for signings is clear. Sunday's 2-2 draw in the capital might have been frustrating, but it highlighted the impact January signings can have. Thomas Kvankara and Julian Araujo were arguably Celtic's 2 best performers, proving that when the club actually invests, quality makes a difference. Martin O'Neill, speaking after the Hearts draw, was asked about more signings and whether 3 or 4 could still come in before the window slams shut on Monday, the 2nd of February at 11 p.m. His answer was blunt. I don't know about your numbers, but definitely we would need some people in. Celtic have a Europa League decider against Utrecht on Thursday, then Falkirk in the league. This week will define not just the transfer window, but potentially the season. That's all for today's Celtic news. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll be back later with more breaking news and updates. Come on you, boys in green.